Okay, year 8, here's the second video in our unit on measurement. And they jump straight in and just give us these formulas for areas of shapes. But what I want to do is I want to discuss, well, where these formulas come from. So if you watched the last video, you would remember that we measure area, or the area inside a 2D shape, in square units. So if I've got a rectangle, here, and I want to count up how many squares. Well, I first of all break it up into however many columns and how many of the rows. So what have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 4 down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 along here. And then I just count the squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Hold on a minute. Aren't there just 4 rows of 8? Couldn't I just quickly count them by going 4 times 8 and get 32 square units? Yes, I could. So if I have a rectangle, if I have any rectangle, and I'm going to write the units that I want on them, and I'm going to have my height and my base, well, the area just equals B times H. And I don't have to put the times in there. Now, they use length, and you can have that area equals length times breadth. Actually, they'd have them around the other way. They call this the breadth, the width, this the length. They go length times breadth. It doesn't matter what pronumerals you use. I like to use B and H because B and H come in all the time. So base, and because we know that all rectangles are at 90 degrees, there's our perpendicular height, which we're going to talk about in a minute. Now the same for a square. You can have a square. You can have a square shape. Where the base and the height are the same. And their formula is they say, oh, the side length. So the area equals S squared. But I still like to use area equals BH, just the two sides times each other. All right. The next thing that everybody goes for is a triangle. And I think this is the wrong way to do it. Essentially, they draw a triangle. And so they draw a triangle. And then they say, oh, triangle is half a rectangle. So this bit and this bit add up to these two bits. So a triangle is half a rectangle. I don't like that because if you get a triangle that's like this, it's hard to make that into a rectangle. All right? I'm going to show you another way. But before we do that, I have to show you the formula for something else, which is a little bit earlier. So I'm going to show you where the formula for a triangle comes from. And to do it, I've got to draw this shape. Now this is a parallelogram. Parallelogram. And a parallelogram is a special shape. It's a quadrilateral. And what it has a perpendicular height there. And this side is parallel to this side, and this side is parallel to this side. Hence, this side and this side are equal, and this side and this side are equal. Which means if I were to cut this bit off, this little triangle here, and put it up here, look what shape I get. I get a rectangle. Now remember that this here is the perpendicular height. Remember, it's not part of the rectangle. We took it away and we put it up there. All right? And this distance, which hasn't changed, is the base, which was the same as this height, so the base. So the area of a parallelogram, you cut this bit off, you make it a rectangle, the area of a parallelogram equals base times height. All right? And remember, the height is the bit inside I'm not going to do that anymore. The bit inside. So the height, the perpendicular height is in here. Okay, now that we know that a parallelogram is base times height, watch what we can do with this. And it's good in the age of technology because if we copy this triangle, so I copy it, flip and paste. So I flip it over, so I'm going to undo all those bits. And I copy, paste and flip, so this side, this side goes up here, so this side here goes up here and comes down there. Right, so I copy, paste, flip, I get a parallelogram. That's really bad drawing. I'm going to just draw it up here. And there it is. And this, so this is a parallelogram, and that are equal. So remember, there's the base, and the height is actually outside the height. So the area of any triangle, because you can cut a triangle, any triangle, you copy, paste, flip, you make it into a parallelogram, the area of a triangle equals a half, because it's half a parallelogram, half the base times the height. So the area of a parallelogram can be made into a rectangle. So a parallelogram is base times height. And the area of a triangle, because all triangles can be made half a parallelogram. Half a parallelogram. Now, people will tell you that it's half a rectangle, and that is true, but it's much easier to see it as half a parallelogram, and even the formula is a half BH, which comes from the parallelogram. So over here, when you get given these three formulas, well, these are the three. I use BH, and I use a half BH, and I don't worry about that one. So let's go to question 5, which is all you have to do. All you have to do, because question 6 is composite shapes, and it's the next lesson. So question 5. Now, you don't have to draw them. It'd be good if you could, but all you have to do, it's a 3-line answer for each of these. So I'm only going to do one of each, and you do the rest. And it's really easy. It's just multiplying. So I'm going to do B E, and H. You can have a go on your own. So 5B, area equals, I use BH, you can do length breadth, and that's 3 times 7. It doesn't matter which order you do. 21, but please make sure you write the units, meters, or square meters. I'm going to do F because I've already done a rectangle, so I'm going to do F, which is a square. So area equals BH. The fact that the B and the H are the same makes no difference. 12 times 12 is 144. What units are we in? Millimeters squares. I prefer you to say that than millimeters squared. And H, what have we got here? We've got the area of a triangle. Now you note every time I'm writing the formula because I want to remember it. Well, the area of a triangle is a half BH. What's the base? Well, it depends which way you're looking from, but it doesn't matter as long as I get the right two numbers. A half times 2 times 3, which is 3 meters squared. I'll just double check that one. Question 5, H 3 meters squared. Now, all of those are relatively easy except for I. Now, they give you 3 measurements. One of those measurements is not needed. One of those measurements is not needed. You have to decide which one. I want you to pause the video, go away, come back after you've had a go. All right, I'm going to do I because I reckon you're going to have trouble with it. So here's 3I. The area of that shape. Well, it's a triangle, so it's a half BH, and it's a half, well, I have to determine the base. Well, the base and the height are always linked by that little square to show 90 degrees. So it's not that one. I'm going to let my height be 3 and my base be 4. They're linked by that triangle, so half times 4 times 3, which is 6. And what units are we in? Kilometres. That's a big triangle. 6 kilometres squared. That's a very big triangle. Now, you make sure you're getting them right. You've done all the others.